Hi, I'm Chris Wardlaw for CarGurus, and that car behind me is the 2015 Ford Focus. Designed and engineered in Europe, the Focus is sold all around the world, and it's one of the most popular cars on the planet. Here in the US, it's the closest thing that America builds to a Volkswagen Golf. It's fun to drive, and it's got more expressive styling than the Volkswagen does. Come on, let's go for a ride. So the Focus we're driving today is the hatchback model in titanium trim. That's the upscale version of the car. There's also an electric version of the Focus and a performance-oriented ST model. But this is the one that has the powertrain in it that most people get most of the time. Now the price tag is fairly high. With the options that are on my car, it's over $27,000, but don't have a heart attack because Ford's always offering incentives and rebates on the car, and you're not going to pay that much. Now the engine under the hood is a 2-liter, 160 horsepower 4-cylinder engine. It gets out of its own way, but it's not fast. It does exactly what you think it's going to do most of the time. It's connected to Ford's 6-speed power shift automated manual gearbox, which in the past has proven a little bit troublesome for a lot of Focus owners. But Ford has had this transmission on a continuous program of improvement, and it is much better. What it could really use is some paddle shifters, because this car is so much fun to drive on a twisty back road that having this silly toggle switch on the side of the shifter and just a sport mode to use is really almost a disappointment. Now, my test car's got the optional 18-inch wheels that are available only on the titanium model. Of course, that produces a lot of extra grip, and the steering is almost a miracle. I really think that every other automaker should be using Ford's electric steering as a model of how this kind of technology is done. One other comment with regard to driving dynamics. The brakes proved outstanding. I tested this car, I should say I abused it, in 90+ degree temperatures in the mountains, and the brakes successfully resisted fade. I was super impressed by that. Now, as far as comfort is concerned, this isn't a roomy car. I mean, it competes in the compact segment. It's a small car. But I fit perfectly behind the steering wheel. Power driver's seat, tilt telescopic steering wheel, I find a perfect driving position, no problem. The back seat is kind of tight. It looks small back there. But with the seat, this driver's seat set to my preference, I can get behind the seat and I'm comfortable because the bottom cushion sits high, and while my knees and shins are in full contact with the seat back, it's soft and padded, so that's not a problem. Now Ford says that behind the rear seat there's 23.8 cubic feet of cargo room. I'm not so sure they're measuring that properly. Maybe if you get rid of the cargo cover and you ditch the spare tire, that's how much space is back there. But practically speaking, you're going to be able to stick a couple of full-size suitcases in there, maybe a couple of duffel bags and a few other things, and that's about it. Now you can fold the rear seats down, and the hatchback supplies 44.8 cubic feet of cargo space. That's a sizable amount of room, but folding the rear seat is such a pain in the butt because the giant rear head restraints have to be removed. There's not enough clearance between the top of their travel and the ceiling, so you have to release the seat back, hold it in place, pop the head restraints, and then you can flop the seat back down. It's really quite inconvenient. As far as the control layout is concerned, I have no trouble at all finding exactly what I need when I need it, especially for the primary controls. I really like Ford's approach to volume and tuning. It's a single button here. It's got rocker switches on either side of a center volume knob. Very intuitive, easy to use, and it looks clean, modern, and technologically advanced. My test car also has Ford's often maligned My Ford Touch infotainment system. Like the transmission, this infotainment system has been on a continuous program of improvement, and today, 2015, it actually works pretty well. It's fairly intuitive. I had no problem using the voice controls to program a destination. The one thing it is missing is the modern trend of smartphone, tablet style gesture control, and it also doesn't have natural voice recognition. And it also doesn't have a Wi-Fi hotspot. So maybe next year or the year after that, the Focus will actually get Ford's next generation iteration of this technology, which is called Sync 3. Now, as far as safety is concerned, the Focus gets a 5-star rating from the federal government, and it gets good ratings from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, except for in the small offset frontal impact test. It gets an acceptable rating. So there's some room for improvement on that front. And Ford also needs to install a forward collision warning system with automatic emergency braking just as soon as it can. Now, for 2015, they have made a couple of other key safety technologies available for this car. One is a blind spot information system, which shows the warning light right on the mirror where you're already looking, and then it flashes if there's a car in your blind spot and you're using the turn signal. And also rear cross traffic alert, which can help you when you're backing out of a blind parking space. It warns you when cars are approaching from either side. You can also get a lane departure warning system and a lane keeping assist system in this car. Overall, I really enjoy driving the Focus, and I think it's a much better car than some organizations' ratings would indicate. It's also a much better car than your last experience with a rental Focus probably was. While it's true that the Focus is the closest thing to a Volkswagen Golf that America builds, this car isn't quite as easy to live with as the Volkswagen is. It's not quite as safe, it's not quite as refined, the lineup isn't nearly as diverse. Volkswagen offers more powertrains than Ford does, but the Ford does offer superior value, and compared to most compact cars in the class, there's a lot of selection in the Focus lineup, a lot more than you get with a lot of other automakers. Be sure to check CarGurus.com for my full review of the Focus, and if you found this video useful, please offer constructive comments at the bottom. Also, we publish new reviews all the time, so subscribe to our channel, and for all of us at CarGurus, thanks for watching. It's not quite up to the same levels of refinement or fun to drive, damn it. And because it does have such a diverse product lineup, that's